Greetings. My name is Samantha Smith. Why don't you all gather around and we'll look at some scary ghost stories. Today I have 3 stories we're going to be looking at: A Monster Calls, Anya's Ghost, and Anna Dressed in Blood. And these books are all wonderful for anyone interested in getting a little bit scared, a little bit anything supernatural or paranormal, anything that interests you. These are the books that would be really great for you to read. And the first one is A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness, if you can see that. But this is a book that you might call it a psychological thriller. It's about a 13-year-old boy named Connor who doesn't know if the monster that's been visiting him in his dreams is in fact there to help him or to eat him alive. But this monster isn't even his biggest fear, because his mother has cancer, and he takes care of her himself most of the time, but he's facing the very real fear that he may be taken away to live with his grandmother due to his mother's declining health. So that night, the monster calls on Connor once again, and I'm going to read you an excerpt from this book now. "It's only a dream," Connor said to himself, in the backyard, looking up at the monster, silhouetted against the moon in the night sky. He folded his arms tightly against his body, not because it was cold, but because he couldn't actually believe he'd tiptoed down the stairs, unlocked the back door, and come outside. He still felt calm, which was weird. This nightmare, because it surely was a nightmare, of course it was so different from the other nightmare. No terror, no panic, no darkness, for one thing. And yet here was a monster, clear as the clearest night, towering 30 or 40 feet above him, breathing heavily in the night air. "It's only a dream," he said again. "But what is a dream, Connor O'Malley?" the monster said, bending down so its face was close to Connor's. "Who is to say that it is not everything else that is the dream?" Every time the monster moved, Connor could hear the creak of wood, groaning and yawning in the monster's huge body. He could see, too, the power in the monster's arms, great wiry ropes of branches constantly twisting and shifting together in what must have been tree muscle, connected to a massive trunk of a chest, topped by a head and teeth that could chomp him down in one bite. "What are you?" Connor asked, pulling his arms closer around himself. "I am not a what," frowned the monster. "I am a who." "Who are you, then?" Connor said. The monster's eyes widened. "Who am I?" it said, its voice getting louder. "Who am I?" The monster seemed to grow before Connor's eyes, getting taller and broader. A sudden hard wind stirred up around them, and the monster spread its arms out wide, so wide they seemed to reach to the opposite horizons, so wide they seemed big enough to encompass the world. "I have as many names as there are years of time itself," roared the monster. "I am Herne the Hunter. I am Ceranos. I am the eternal green man." A great arm swung down and snatched Connor up in it, lifting him high in the air, the wind whirling around them, making the monster's leafy skin weave angrily. "Who am I?" the monster repeated, still roaring. "I am the spine that the mountains hang upon. I am the tears that the rivers cry. I am the lungs that breathe the wind. I am the wolf that kills the stag, the hawk that kills the mouse, the spider that kills the fly. I am the stag, the mouse, and the fly that are eaten. I am the snake of the world devouring its own tail. I am everything untamed and untamable." It brought Connor up close to its eye. "I am this wild earth, come for you, Connor O'Malley." Right. Connor's story continues in A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. Next up, we have Anya's Ghost by Vera Bruskalov. And this is a story about a young girl named Anya whose family immigrated to America from Russia when she was very young. And even after living in America for many years, she still struggles to fit in. When Anya skips school one day to wander through the park, she falls in a well. And in that well, she comes face to face with a real ghost. And that lived over 90 years ago. It's an old ghost. And the ghost follows Anya home, and slowly the two of them start to become friends. I'm also going to show you an excerpt from this one. God, they drive me crazy. He could murder someone and it would be okay because he's 6. When I was alive, if children misbehaved, they got beaten with canes. Heh, awesome. Hey, thanks again for all your help today. You were really cool to do all that stuff. Oh, I'm happy to help. I was wondering though, yeah? That boy whose schedule you wanted, are you in love with him? In love? No, but yeah, I mean, he's cute. Oh, I was in love once. Oh, really? What happened? We were going to get married, but he had to go to war. The first war you were saying in school, and he was killed in a German raid. Oh no, I'm so sorry. It's alright, I'm not the only one it happened to. Look, I'm really sorry. I've been kind of a jerk to you when you've been so nice. I don't even know your name. Emily. Emily Riley. Emily. Man, I should have asked a long time ago. But how did you wind up in that well? I was murdered. What? How? Well, my parents lived on a farm not too far from the woods. The house was so old I doubt it's standing anymore. My parents were very religious. We would always offer a bed in the barn to anyone who might be passing through the area. The man who came that spring seemed like a good Christian. He even helped my mother make dinner every night. Except one night, I woke up from a dream and came downstairs. He was standing over my parents' bodies, ready to go upstairs for me. He saw me. I ran through the forest. I could hear him behind me. I was never very strong, and he could have caught me. I could almost feel his breath on the back of my neck when I fell. I don't think they ever found him. I could hear them calling for him to surrender, to tell him where my body was, until I couldn't hear anything anymore. That's it. That's pretty much the saddest thing I've ever heard. Yeah, I get a little down about it myself. There's got to be something I can do to help. Hey, maybe I can solve your murder? Help find out what happened to that guy so you can rest in peace? Oh, alright, that might be worth a try. Thank you. Sure, that's what friends are for. So that's part of Anya's ghost. And to learn more about how Anya solves the mystery of Emily's death, you can check out Anya's Ghost by Vera Broskal. And last but not least, we have Anya Dressed in Blood by Kendra Blake. And this one is about Cass Lowood, who has known about the existence of ghosts and monsters for as long as he can remember. His father used to hunt dangerous spirits and put them to rest before his own death. Now Connor has taken up his father's place. He travels the country with his mother, who happens to be a witch, and her cat named Tybalt. And he goes around killing dangerous ghosts with his father's blade, the ant theme. The family never stays anywhere for very long, usually no more than a few months. And their most recent destination has taken them to Thunder Bay, where Cass is tracking the spirit of Anna, a spirit known as Anna Dressed in Blood. He goes to a party to get information from some of the local teenagers, and they take him to a house where he has his first encounter with Anna Dressed in Blood. I force my eyes open and will my head to lift up an inch or two. At first I don't see anything extraordinary about the stairs. They're a bit narrow and the banister has been broken in no less than 3 places. But then I look up further. It's her. She's flickering in and out like an image on a computer screen. Some dark specter trying to fight her way out of the video and into reality. Keeping her, with her hand grips the rail, she becomes corporal, and it whines and creaks beneath the pressure. I shake my head softly, still disoriented. I know who she is. I know her name. I can't think of why I'm here. It suddenly occurs to me that I'm trapped. I don't know what to do. I can hear the repeated panicked prayers of Chase and Mike as they continue to argue about whether or not to run or try and get me out of the house somehow. Anna is descending upon me. coming down the stairs without taking any strides. Her feet drag horribly along, like she can't use them at all. Dark purplish veins cut through her pale white skin. Her hair is shadowless black, and it moves through the air as though suspended in water, shaking out behind and drifting like reeds. It's the only thing about her that looks alive. She doesn't wear her death wounds like other ghosts do. They say her throat was cut, and this girl's throat is long and white. But there is the dress. It's wet and red, and it's constantly moving. It drips onto the ground. I don't realize that I've scooted back against the wall until I feel the cold pressure against my back and shoulder. I can't take my eyes off her. They're like oil drops. It's impossible to tell where she's looking, but I am not foolish enough to hope that she can't or hasn't seen me. She is terrible, not gruesome, but otherworldly. My heart is pounding in my chest, and the ache of my head is incredible. It tells me to lie down. It tells me that I can't get out. I don't have the strength to fight. Anna is going to kill me, and I'm surprised to find that I would rather it be one like her, in her dress made of blood. I would rather succumb to whatever hell she has in mind for me, than give up quietly in a hospital somewhere because someone hit me in the head with a piece of plank board. She's coming closer. Her eyes are drifting shut, but I can hear her movements whisper through the air. I can hear each fat drop of blood strike the floor. I open my eyes. She's standing above me, the goddess of death, black lips and cold hands. Anna. My mouth curls into a weak smile. And that's from Anna Dressed in Blood by Kendra Blake. You want to see what happens to Cass and Anna? Check out this scary romantic tale for yourself. Right? So that's the 3 books. A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness, Anya's Ghost by Vera Bosgrove, and Anna Dressed in Blood by Kendra Blake. And those are some very good stories for anyone interested in the paranormal or supernatural, anything a little bit scary. And thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed these books, and I hope you'll take a look at them in sometime in the future. Bye.